The following is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network. You're listening to Real Estate Radio Fresno on News Talk 580 KMJ and 105.9 The FM KMJ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Craig Barton.
And so it begins on Sunday morning. Good morning, Southern California. I'm your host, Craig Barton. Gigi's back.
I'm back.
She's back.
I'm a Gigi again.
You're a Gigi again.
I am.
Yeah.
Samuel Michael Runyon Casso was born on a date a week or so ago. 7 pounds, 8 ounces.
A week or so ago.
7 pounds, 8 ounces.
Just don't have it in the routine just quite yet as to when Samuel's born. But
you know what? I lost some sleep. I was expected to be there. I was being a good grandma.
She was grandma drunk over the last weekend because it was a busy. Really. No, I don't mean.
Painting me in a beautiful light. At least I wasn't just trying to eat the microphone.
Yeah, it's. Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you
it's so
much.
great to have you back. You were missed. We actually had people say, you know what, Craig, if you're not going to bring her back in the studio again, then we don't want to hear you.
And last week's conversation was a good one.
Yes, it was.
It's so appropriate for me to be here. The progesterone was not.
The progesterone was not equally represented.
Darn it all. Next time Dr. Lester comes, I'm here.
Yes, there you
Please.
go. We'll make sure that happens. Thanks so much for joining us. Johnny B behind the mics. How you doing, John? Yeah, good. 2 thumbs up. Oh, my gosh.
Better now.
Yeah, Lisa Casso, our client care coordinator.
Good morning.
So
Happy
good.
to be back and just back to work for real.
Yeah.
You know, I was absent.
It's a little disconcerting when your offspring start having offspring.
It's awful. It's great.
Well, it's not awful, but
it makes you feel really, really, really old.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
And you're older than me.
Thank goodness. And one of our clients was telling us this week, you and I were talking with a mutual client and said, oh, yeah, this is for go have your kids when they get ready to have kids, go see. And I'm like, no, we don't need to go. No. No.
Yeah, you keep living in denial. It's a lovely place to be.
Yes.
Just wait. And then one day they'll just break loose. That's what happened with mine.
Good.
I'm way too young to have 3 grandkids.
There you go. Timur O'Hare.
Good morning.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm wonderful. How are you guys?
Our licensed mortgage professional.
I'm here.
Yeah?
Yep.
Smile on your face. You're awfully chipper. You been having a good weekend or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of guilt in that statement, I can tell right now. Guilt or shame, a combination of both. I don't know exactly
Just
how much.
Pure happiness.
Yeah. And we're very fortunate this Sunday morning to have Ben and Jeff Bogdanoff back in the studio with Vineyard Pools. Our pool guys. And that sounds so tacky. I don't...
Pool guys.
Better than pool boys.
Pool
boys. I guess, yes. It's our preference.
There you go. Well, we'll stick with pool guys. There you go.
Different stigma with the pool boys.
Yeah, totally different stigma. It sends out a totally different message. So for our listeners that are within earshot this morning, it's extremely important. Go to vineyardpools.com. So while you're listening to our segment that we have the guys on, make sure you go to the website. And as they have some of those photos that are scrolling, it'll give you just a glimpse of exactly the kind of phenomenal work that they do. Now, it is nothing like the $3 million pool that they're working on right at the moment that I saw pictures.
Amazing.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
My horizons were expanded. I never thought...
Well, my quote was, is this Vegas? Because that's what it looked like.
People don't think it's residential, too, so they think it's commercial.
Is it a theme park? Is Boomers doing something new?
Personal theme park, yeah.
He could make money off it.
Might start charging for rides. Yeah.
There you go.
Does he have farm animals, I guess, is the only question.
Oh, boy. Yeah, it could be, the Real Estate Radio Network gives us the opportunity to reach so many people efficiently for 1 full hour. Each and every week, our goal at the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners. We're trying to get you, we say the timely and accurate truth, but we're trying to get you information about your real estate and financial markets. Today, we're going to share with you information about pools and exactly what goes into building pools. We're going to talk about, and we said the top 10 things, but there's probably 20 on this list by the time we get to the segment of the top 20 mistakes that you do or that homeowners do when they're looking to build a pool. We're also going to share some financial secrets with you that the big banks and Wall Street don't want you to hear, so we can help bring you
back home. I missed a week. Fail.
Yeah, fail. All right. We got to work on that one this week, Gigi. On today's show, there are some big changes in the credit scoring models, and Timmer's jumping up and down and saying hooray, hooray. And boomerang buyers, wait times, exactly how long they have to wait after a foreclosure. Do they have to pay off medical bills? Just exactly how is that going to affect you when it comes time for purchasing your next home? And 6 things home buyers should avoid doing once they are pre-approved. Tim's extremely passionate about this topic, and
always.
And mortgage rates slipped to near lows for 2014. And as we mentioned, we're very fortunate to have Ben and Jeff Bogdanoff here in the studio with us, representing Vineyard Pools, our local pool design experts. They're going to help show you how to stay cool year-round. We're also going to take some listener questions, so make sure you stay with us. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions about the information that we share with you here on the show this morning, or let's say you have a question about something that's specific to your world. Craig, I'd like information about, let's say, a reverse mortgage, or I am looking for a home and just exactly where do I start? Or let's say, unfortunately, I'm still underwater, and I need information about a short sale and exactly how that affects my future. Or let's say you need a referral to an estate planner. I have stuff, and I want to make sure that my stuff gets to someone, and I don't want it to cost them a whole bunch of money, or potentially that they might have to liquidate some of my assets. Give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to field your questions, and we'd love to make a referral to our trusted advisors. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us on your smartphone at kmjnow.com. You can also go to our website and listen to past shows from the Real Estate Radio Network by going to valleywidesells.com. Well, let's take a look at today's hot property. Today's hot property is brought to you by our buddy Bert. Bert Welsh at Win Home Inspections. Whether it's residential or multifamily, call our friend Bert for all your home inspection needs. You can reach Bert at 559-363-4080. Again, that's 559-363-4080. Well, today's show is being interrupted by a personal phone call from Missouri. I do apologize. Today's hot property is 5649 West Weathermaker Avenue. That's Fresno, California. This property is located in the award-winning Central Unified School District. This 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, practically brand new. And when you say built in 2002, it really does feel like it's practically brand new. 1,705 square feet on a 6,100 square foot lot. It does also have an above-ground pool. It's kind of interesting. We're talking about pools today. It has an above-ground pool. What was interesting, I might add, is that one of the potential buyers came through on a showing, and the agent made the comment, backyard too small. Mm-hmm. And the above ground pool took up too much room, as opposed to, I don't mean to be disrespectful, because the pool does come with the property. The sellers have mentioned that they're going to leave it with the property.
I don't cemented there.
It's not exactly.
It's not like one of their pools.
You could. There's an amazing thing called Craigslist, and all you need to do is list it on Craigslist. Take a couple photos.
He goes plugging his other business.
Yeah, it does hold water, and this is proof. Yeah. And sell the sucker. And if you love the fact that it does have a pool, you can talk to our guys Ben and Jeff at Vineyard Pools, and they can actually put one in. So you have to make sure you think outside of the box, and it's the same buyers that come in and say, oh, I don't like burgundy walls. Well, this property doesn't possess burgundy walls, but if it did, I've got a paintbrush that can take care of that, and a couple gallons of paint. So sorry, that was my tangent totally for this morning. This 1,705 square foot 3-bedroom 2-bath home built in Central Unified School District. List price $205. Seller's extremely motivated. Give us a call for your private showing today. Call us 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958, and we will send you more information about this hot property and to schedule your private showing anytime. Again, 800-979-3958. Look for more hot properties each week right here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Well, Inventory continues to trickle up in Fresno County. We've got currently, as of this week, 2,038 active listings in Fresno County. Roughly 4% of our active inventory is short sales. Gosh, what are those? I remember back in 2006 when people used to ask or used to see it in multiple listing, and they'd say, it's a short sale. So just exactly is that? Is it really closing?
It goes really quick?
Yeah, it'll close in 2 weeks. That was one of those terms that we hadn't seen really that much. 3.7% of the active inventory is currently REOs, and the balance, 1,879. Lisa and Tim, it wasn't that long ago when our inventory was hovering right around 1,600 for the longest time. Mm-hmm. Well, we've seen that sales are up in May, June, and July. 708 closings in May, 690 in June, 691 in July. Year to date, we're still averaging quite a bit lower at 617 closed sales per month in Fresno County. We are at that point. I think we've reached equilibrium, and I think we're starting to trickle. We've got right at the moment roughly 3.3 months worth of active inventory. So economists typically say that 3 to 5 months is that sweet spot. I can't say, though, that if we get north of 3,000 that it's going to feel all that comfortable, because let's just say that I hope we don't get there for the market's sake. Well, today there are big changes in credit scoring models that will assist boomerang buyers' wait times when they're actually eligible to be able to purchase a home. Well, kudos to the lobbying efforts of the National Association of Realtors and the regulatory pressure of the the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, both of whom pushed through these new regulations and business practices. Medical collections right at the moment with FHA, Timmer, they don't have to be paid.
No.
Pretty neat.
Very neat.
Yeah.
It's in the dollar amount.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, which is, I think, I wouldn't say everybody, but there's a lot of people out there that do have medical collections that they're not even aware of it until they get their credit pulled.
Right.
And they're like, where'd that come from?
Right.
So I think that's a definite bonus for some of the people out there that are not aware of those collections, can get them taken care of and move on.
Right. Especially when more than half, it says here, more than half of all bad debt collections on credit reports are associated with medical bills. That's a pretty big number.
Yeah.
And then the rest are Comcast and AT&T or the median FICO for those consumers whose only major black mark represented on their credit report can be expected to increase by at least 25 points. Also, rental histories. Experian. Did you know Experian and TransUnion recently announced that they're teaming up with RentTrack, a service that enables tenants nationwide to pay their rents online and have their monthly payments included in their Experian credit reports.
That's pretty cool.
So right at the moment, again, if you're, whether it's FHA, let's use FHA as an example, one of the most common types of financing that we see here in the Valley. Mm-hmm. If the DU findings, the desktop underwriter findings, don't say that you need a mortgage history, then guess what? It's not needed.
Right.
But in certain instances, and at least my experience has been, they're really few and far between, you might need a rental history.
Yeah, and more of that comes into a real problem for the consumers, those that pay cash.
Absolutely.
And, obviously, when you're renting from somebody, your landlord's not going to say, hey, pay me my check every month.
So this could be a perfect alternative for those folks that want to pay cash, but directly from their bank account.
Right.
They want to actually show up on the RentTrack radar.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, possible foreclosures. If you have a Chapter 7 and you've included a mortgage in that Chapter 7, as it stands, or as it stood, I should say, you used to have to wait from the point in time, not when the bankruptcy was discharged, but the wait time began to tick once the foreclosure actually took place. So once the property went to sale at the courthouse steps, then the time clock started ticking. Well, wait no more. It starts when the property was included in the actual bankruptcy. And that was something I felt it was, it kind of hamstringed buyers.
Yeah, well, because, you could sit on that property. You know as well as I do, driving around neighborhoods, you see some that have been vacant for years.
And, yeah, exactly. Been vacant for years and still in the name of the bank.
Right.
Yeah, 6 things that you should avoid doing once you're pre-approved. Yeah.
Tim wrote this article.
Yes, he did. As a matter of fact, written by our mortgage professional, Tim O'Hare. You've done the hard part in the home buying process. And, the hard part is not over until you get that last pay stub in the day that you're getting ready to fund. And you've chosen a lender and a real estate agent to work with. And you've also gone out and found the home of your dreams. Well, best of all, your team has done a great job of negotiating the best deal for you. Now, as a buyer, what do? You just get to sit back and wait.
Go buy a car.
Yeah, go buy a car. Yeah, don't listen to Gigi. That's not the best thing. Don't go to rent-to-own or don't go to Best Buy and don't start going crazy.
Taking all kinds of money out of your account?
Yeah, exactly.
Getting pre-approved. How about that big gift from Grandma? That $3,000 in cash you just deposit?
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly.
Tim likes those.
Oh, yes. Getting a home, obviously nowadays, does require a number of different moving parts. Well, let's start with those things that you need to make sure that you do. Yes, do keep the process moving by responding to your loan officer's requests for documentation as soon as possible.
Yes. Very necessary.
You can tell this is going to be a very interactive conversation with Timmer. And do make decisions as soon as possible when they need to be made, whether it's to lock your interest rate or to have an inspection completed.
I find sometimes the most frustrating part is when you request a pay stub from a client and they say, okay, I'll get it to you, and they wait a couple of days, and by the time they get it to you, the other one is now expired. Now I'm going to need another one on top of that. Well, so it's one of those things where it's like I always try and inform the client, keep your stuff up to date. And I said, I may or may not need it, but if you got it, that way we don't have to worry about it. Sure. So it's there.
And understand that for every day that they wait, that it puts you even farther out. Because the moment that you get it doesn't mean that you sign it off.
Correct.
It means
there's a delay there of maybe 3 or 4 days before the underwriter actually signs off on it. So
absolutely. Number 3, do convey questions or concerns as they develop. Yeah, bad news doesn't get better. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. Do continue to make all of your rent and mortgage payments on time. That's always a goocher for me. Yes, continue to pay your rent. Obviously, that could be a problem. You're wanting to borrow $150,000, so stay true on that.
And in addition to that, for people that are out there refinancing, definitely continue to make your payments on your mortgage.
Absolutely.
We typically talk about purchasing, but on refis, if you don't make your payment and all of a sudden it goes a month, guess what?
Yep. Do continue to work your normal schedule. Don't take a bunch of unplanned time off so that doggone paycheck looks a little light in the britches. Yeah?
I got one right now.
You got one right now.
I was going to say, these people were spying on Tim.
Yeah, they are. Do continue to use your credit as normal.
Wisely.
Yeah, wisely. Yes, wisely. Do be prepared to explain any large deposits in your bank account.
And including cash.
Including cash.
Yes.
It has to be sourced, where, and seasoned, meaning that it has to show up in there.
Right.
For at least 60 days and must be explainable. And usually
advising that you had a yard sale doesn't really make it with the underwriter.
And it's not easy to make that go away with just a letter of explanation.
No.
Yeah. Do enjoy purchasing your home, but remain objective throughout the process to help make decisions that are best for you. That was like your...
I don't get that.
Yeah. Don't make any... So here's the don'ts real quick. Don't make any major purchases, car, boat, jewelry, furniture, or appliances.
Don't acquire on your credit.
Absolutely. And do not apply... Did I say... You said do not acquire?
Do not inquire on your credit.
Yeah, do not apply for new credit. Right. Or pre-approved, same as cash. If you want to do that after escrow closes, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
But not before, especially if it's a situation where there is what they call a soft pull prior. And a soft pull would be the lender pulling your credit report just prior to the close of escrow.
If they see any new inquiries, there's going to be explaining.
Lucy got some explaining to do. Yeah. Do not pay off any charges or collections unless you're directed to do so by your mortgage professional.
Yeah, that one's kind of interesting always to me, because you would think as a lender you would like that, but really don't do it because it does affect you negatively.
You have to understand what to manipulate and when to manipulate it. It's not always a good thing to pay off a collection. And don't make any changes to your credit profile.
Such as?
Don't make any changes to your credit profile. Don't close anything. So as an example, don't close an account. Right. Closing an account can have an adverse effect, especially if, let's say, you maintain a balance on that account. If you've got a $1,000 balance and a $2,500 credit limit, prior to closing that, your percentage of utilization was quite low. In other words,
well, and it might be an instance, too, where you have very limited credit and you close something out and you now don't qualify.
And you needed that account that you just closed.
Yeah.
Sometimes the responsible thing, again, consult your mortgage professional. Don't change bank accounts. Don't open up a new account. I know what Tim's going to say. Well, sometimes you have to make it look right as far as the underwriter is concerned. But and lastly, don't make any unusual deposits.
Yeah.
From that South
grandmother's
American
account that left you $50,000 in cash. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you're thinking of selling your home, well, you've come to the right place. But you're not really sure what your home is worth before you list the property. This is a free service. Just go to our website. Go to Valleywide Home Values. Or let's say you're just curious what your home is worth. You really have no intent as far as selling the property right at the moment. You just might be surprised. Go to ValleyWideHomeValues.com to go to kind of the right-hand side of the page, about 2/3 of the way down. Click on what your home is worth and tell us a little bit about your property, and we will send you a free, no-obligation market analysis talking about the value in your property. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions regarding the information that we share with you on our show, all it starts with is one call. Give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us on your smartphone at kmjnow.com. You can also check out our resources. You can even search for your next home. Go to Valleywide Sells. Again, that's ValleyWideSells.com. Well, as we mentioned, we are so fortunate this Sunday morning to have Ben and Jeff Bogdanoff with Vineyard Pools here in the studio with us, our local experts in pool design, helping you to stay cool all year round. Make sure you stay with us. You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing and wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm Tom Morgan, a financial consultant with Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Thies & Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right. at home at Thies and Duker. Visit us online at thiesandduker.com. ThiesendUker.com.
The consultants at Thies and Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valleywide help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at valleywidesells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, before we get to Ben and Jeff, each week we are going to have, as a community service announcement, we at Valleywide, the Real Estate Radio Network, I don't know if you've noticed, but we love to eat, and we consider ourselves foodies at heart. Maybe. I haven't missed many meals. I don't know if you've noticed, Johnny. Just don't call me fat. Our first selection, and it's with high esteem that we talk about these guys, the Press Box. This is our restaurant of the week that we're featuring. Press Box, I don't know if you knew this, but Press Box has 2 locations. One at 6022 North Fig Garden Avenue in Fresno and 1785 Herndon Avenue in Clovis. And that's the newest location, Herndon and Fowler Avenue. It's on the northwest corner there.
It's excellent.
It is awesome.
It's really good.
You can tell by the name that it is a sports bar, but it really is so much more. The bar's staffed with super friendly bartenders and servers and lined with all sorts of different types of, I don't know that I've ever seen per customer more TVs in a sports bar. It's absolutely, so if you like going to watch a Fresno State football game or going to watch a professional football game, it's preseason right at the moment, this is a great place.
Fantasy football players are probably going to be going nuts.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They feature the freshest prepared food in a unique style that they call creative American cuisine that you have to taste, really, just to see what it's all about. The food's not only unique as the bar. The brothers, Tom and Nate Miller, have made it their mission to support our athletic community. It's past and present sports heroes to take it one step further to support the next generation of sports heroes that are grown right here in the Central Valley. Now, being that they are alumni of Central High School, they've raised over $80,000 for their sports programs, as well as approximately $8,000 for Fresno High and several other Fresno Clovis schools. They offer amazing, this is one interesting thing that I don't know that I didn't know until I actually frequented the Press Box. They offer an amazing fundraising opportunity for sports teams of all kinds to ensure that every young person has a chance to play sports at the highest level. Call 275-7777 to see how the Press Box can help you raise money for your child's sports teams. Enjoy the Press Box's atmosphere, beverages, amazing food to help support a business that gives back to their community. That's the Press Box on the Fig Garden Loop and on Herndon and Fowler Avenue. Enjoy. Well, as we mentioned, we're so fortunate to have Ben and Jeff Bogdanoff here in the studio with Vineyard Pools, our local experts in pool design. And the more we talk, the more there is no end. You think that pool building is very one-dimensional. And after our conversation, as we were coming into the studio, it's very obvious now, we were talking about a $3 million pool, that it is far more than one-dimensional, and that's a build that takes a year or something like that.
Couple depends years on the changes. Yeah.
It's ever evolving. Well, I might add, it's extremely important to note, Vineyard Pools maintains an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. That's important to know. Yeah. So what are some of the common reasons, guys, that you see, and this is a very broad, very basic question, that you see people that they want to build a pool? What draws people to pools?
I think the main thing is just people having that backyard vacation experience in their backyard all the time, not having to travel, especially with gas and just all the hassles, and just being able to walk out your backyard and have something that you can enjoy every day, get to know your friends' kids, they come over, they swim. Exercise is another big one. That's the most healthiest exercise you could do is swimming laps, less stress on your body. So there's tons of reasons people do it, but I'd say Fresno is all about the backyard experience, the barbecuing, that people like to just hang out. And I mean, it's a whole room of the house that you're adding that otherwise you really don't want to go back there in this heat. It's almost useless.
There's really no reason to spend time in your backyard unless you have a pool.
Yeah.
Or you enjoy the sun, and even then, it's warm. So we're very blessed with warm summers. I can say this, some of my most vivid memories, my most amazing memories are spending time with my family. Not just, we did not have a pool, unfortunately, growing up, but spending times at other folks' houses, and it was centered around the opportunity to swim, to hang out, to get to hang out with friends, to barbecue, for our dads to get to hang out with.
Play Marco Polo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Growing up, yeah.
Seriously, I think it's up to us to make sure that we carry those on. It really is.
Yeah.
So another kind of abstract question. When folks want to, and again, go to vineyardpools.com, get a great idea of some of the most amazing pools that these guys have been involved in constructing. When someone sits and thinks about, well, I wonder if my yard's big enough, really, how big does my yard need to be when it comes time for building a pool?
Well, you can check out our website. We do have a gallery for small pools for small yards, but there's some dimensions that are listed on there that actually give, if they have 20 feet from their house to the backyard fence, you do have to stay typically 5 feet away from your setbacks.
For code, yeah.
For code. So we are restricted by city and county codes. Typically 5 foot's the magic number.
To water.
And that's going to be your water's edge. So you can basically have like a 10-foot pool typically. And
so if you have 25 feet
to work with.
If you're 25 feet deep, you have 5 feet from the fence, 5 feet from the house. That would give you a 15-foot wide pool, and that's pretty average.
Yeah. So you'll obviously want to make sure you can walk between your house and your pool. If you ever want to do yard work and not have walking by with a wheelbarrow, you feel like you're going to fall in the pool. There's some practical aspects of.
I've used that excuse a time or two when I was a kid. So.
Yeah. So how small is too small? I've done some in Harlan Ranch that can have some really small backyards. Others are larger, but we can maximize that space up to that 5 foot setback, and you'll be surprised at some of the pools, or I call them spools, that we can do, which can kind of be a backyard that can surprise you.
So don't pass judgment yourself. Call the experts at Vineyard Pools, and we'll make sure that we get the right footprint and let you know if it can be done. It sounds like it can.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about pools as they relate to real estate and and what it can do as far as helping the value of your home.
Well, that's kind of the thing people always will. They're not quite sure.
So exactly how much is it going to improve our value?
Well, the appraisal value usually is not where you see it. I think it's the how desirable the home is for the buyers is where we see it more, is where I know.
I couldn't agree more. I think in terms of intrinsic value, what it brings as far as perception is concerned, if you're able to address, and we have a question here a little bit later in terms of how you're able to address someone's concern that maybe isn't real educated with regards to how, and we're going to talk about pool equipment and how the technological advances, how much more efficient it is, because if you have a very inefficient system and you don't really pay attention, you can use a lot of electricity, and then if you do, we call our friends Glenn Seaman over at Arise Solar. We have them come and address your power needs, and then we make sure that we do everything we can to get your bill zeroed out.
They've also looked into solar for the pool pump separately, but by the end of the day, with all the rebates, it's best just to get an efficient pump and do the house solar, because I've had some people look into that, but they're trying to power the pump off of the solar panels themselves, and that usually just better to go with a solar system on your house, and then you can utilize the benefit on the whole house, not just the pump.
Certainly. So we were talking about something earlier in between the break with regards to how important it is as far as maintaining the actual pool. Maintenance is obviously critical. You guys maintain your pools in quite a bit of instances?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I started pool service about 3 years ago myself, and so we've kind of grown that aspect of the business. But As far as how important it is, it's really going to determine how your pool finish, your tile, everything is going to look over the long run.
You had mentioned, excuse me for interjecting, but I thought it really important. I never knew this. This is such an amazing learning experience. You guys said your calcium. It used to be years ago that the calcium was too high, and it was evident because you would see a lot of calcium deposits on your tile and your finishes.
Right.
But now you see that because the county or city or what have you, whatever municipality, the treatment plants are doing such a great job of pulling the calcium out of the water, that there can be such a thing as having too low a calcium. And explain to our listeners what it can really do to your finishes.
Well, it can pull the calcium out of your pool, the water itself in your brand new pool. It can actually pull the calcium off the walls. So water in your pool is going to seek out a balance. So you either balance it yourself and get it perfect as best you can and watch it on a weekly basis as good as you can, or your water will be aggressive and actually start attacking your plaster in the sense of trying to pull things out of it so it balances out, or it's going to be on the opposite side. If you fill it up with a well water and it's too high in calcium or something like that, it can you can have scale and excessive water falling out of solution and white buildup everywhere, and then the kids' bathing suits start getting ripped, and it's uncomfortable, and all that roughness, and then people don't want to do, certain things to their pool. They blame it on the pebble or certain other processes, or the pool guy is usually the number one to blame. Basically, a brand new pool especially, get it balanced and have a professional that knows how to follow the steps. Calcium, alkalinity, pH, all those fun things that not a lot of people are aware of until, unfortunately, it's too late and they look at their pool that's discolored, and there's not a lot you can do besides ripping it off and starting over and spending thousands.
Yeah, we actually joined the Plaster Council a few years back, and we've gone through a lot of the training because we just get so involved with the startup procedures and how important and when to add chlorine and how long to run the pumps. It's just very technical. You just don't go in there and start the pump and throw chlorine. It has to be a whole process followed. But a lot of the guys didn't know that calcium need to be, that's kind of a newer thing for our industry.
Gotcha.
Too, just because we didn't have to deal with such low calcium. Because if it doesn't get it in the water, it will find it in your grout and in your deck, and it'll pull it out of there and pit those areas. So it can be very destructive if you don't get that in line.
Sure. Extremely important component. So someone listening to our show today says, hey, my husband and I, my wife and I, whatever it is, we've for years talked about wanting to start the process, but really never knew where to look. So as a resource, the first thing that they would do is contact your office. And where does the process start? What does the process look like for a consumer that contacts you?
Well, as far as most people have been gathering pictures online, on Houzz, on websites, and just getting an idea of what they like, because I think their style is going to be a big important, what they can input, because it's very personalized to your backyard, because we can design whatever you want. So when they come in, we have a display center, so they can also get more hands-on after they're done with looking at pictures, and then we can actually go and visit their site and put their whole backyard on a 3D program. And a lot of the times they are very surprised what they can fit in those small backyards and how we can tailor it into all the little nooks and crannies and just figure a way to maximize that yard. But our 3D process allows us to just get very accurate and really get you a lot of space and design it and lay it out perfectly and,
nice.
And execute it really, really well.
I say this, and Lisa and I use this a lot. Just get out of your way. In other words, don't pre-think that, we can't do this or we can't do that. Just get out of your way. Just contact our guys over at Vineyard Pools.
They'll move you out of your way.
They'll move you out of your way. Best way to get a hold of you guys?
Well, our office is, you can call the office and start there at 299-6044, or the website. You can also email and set up an appointment there. So info@vineyardpools.com. So Perfect. Those are usually the two common ways people contact us.
Smoke signals or by referral.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or if you
drive by that wonderful place.
Yeah, absolutely.
People just stop in
on the northeast corner of Clovis and Sierra Avenue.
Right.
It's an amazing showroom. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions regarding the information that we share with you on our show, or let's say it's specific to pools, just give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to us on your smartphone at kmjnow.com. You can listen to all the other guys here, Chris and Ray, you know, those other bigwigs in the building. You can also check out our resources online and search for your next home at valleywidesells.com. Well, after the break, we're going to talk about some of the common mistakes that folks encounter when they start looking or talking about building a pool. Make sure you stay with us. You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network, helping you to redefine real estate here on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Have you ever thought about going solar? It's never been easier to go solar than with a SunPower lease. You'll start saving money the very first day. Arise Solar has a team of energy consultants ready to help you determine if going solar is right for you. Start taking control of your energy costs. Contact Arise Solar, your local SunPower Elite dealer at 449-8989. That's Arise Solar at 449-8989. Or use press 4 keywords, Arise Solar.
Rick Ransom, a local guy, began his career in mortgage lending in 1989. In 91, he became one of the first reverse mortgage lenders in California. Since that time, he's helped hundreds of seniors with reverse mortgages and other senior-related issues. And he's one of the few in this business who is a CPA.
This is Rick Ransom. Much of what you hear on TV and radio is not altogether true. There is misinformation. A reverse mortgage can help you supplement your retirement, pay off your existing mortgage or credit cards, even purchase a new home. If you're ready for a free face-to-face meeting with someone with 45 years experience in the application process, call me at 221-5355. That's 221-5355. I look forward to meeting with you.
DRE number 513201, NMLS number 240770.
When it comes to investing in wealth management, you can find good counsel from someone at a local office for a Wall Street firm. And if you do well, a main office in New York does well. However, we at Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group offer a very different choice. Our associates offer Wall Street experience from an independent, local company. We answer to you, not New York. Thies & Duker's owners, associates, and staff members live right here. We're your neighbors.
I'm Tom Morgan, a financial consultant with Thies & Duker Financial Consulting Group. I recently joined Thies & Duker because I wanted to serve my clients in an independent firm that truly values clients, families, and this community. If that's what you're looking for too, give me a call at 448-8190.
Feel right at home at Thies & Duker. Visit us online at thiesandduker.com. THIESENDUEKER.com.
The consultants at Thies & Duker are registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valleywide Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let Craig and his team at Valleywide help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Start the search for your next home by visiting our website at valleywidesells.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valleywide Homes to work for you.
You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, as we mentioned, we have our pool building experts here in the studio this morning, Ben and Jeff Bogdanoff from Vineyard Pools. Go to vineyardpools.com, or you can reach out to them at 559-299-6044. Again, 559-299-6044. So let's talk about mistakes. Obviously, there's mistakes that, I'm just one big mistake, and I'm the product of lots of mistakes. None of those that had anything to do with Lester and Judy Barton years ago. I was supposed to be named Mark. Supposedly, I was conceived in Mark somewhere.
Mark?
I don't know. Maybe there's
the town of Mark?
Yeah, the town of Mark. Something Mark. I don't know.
St. Mark.
Yeah, there you go. So mistakes. The top, actually, we're going to, this is probably going, we've got a couple lists that we're going to talk about as far as common mistakes that pools make, or that folks make as they're going through the the research process, the pool buying process. Number one, shopping for a pool like you're shopping for a car. And Ben, you had mentioned it's not different. They're going to give you a car.
Right. Well, I mean, you would shop a lot differently from who you're buying it from if the dealership was making the car on site.
Right. Very good point.
We get if they're deciding the motor and the engine and plumbing and connecting lines rather than just giving you car keys.
Right.
So we have to be the experts in all the areas and ins and outs and maintenance and watch the whole thing. So.
This is not designing Kobe's online at NikeID.com. It's a little more extensive than that, right?
Right.
Number two, not asking enough questions. Yeah, it can go either way, right?
I mean, we'll be on sometimes an appointment for 3 hours just talking with people, and some people have them all there and list them out. But we're trying to get in your guys' head of what's important to your family and what you need and how you're going to use the pool. So the more we know, the better we can do.
Paralysis by analysis. Going out and you've got this one individual that goes out and gets 10 to 15 estimates, and then all of a sudden can't make a decision, because not making a decision is still making a decision, but can't make a decision because they've just got too much feedback. Or maybe they just haven't gotten a great referral to you guys.
Right. I mean, normally we see people 3 leads or 3 bids or so is what's typically recommended. But, yeah, you start getting all your little lines crossed and who said what and what's going on, and that would be really tough to make that decision. And I think we were talking earlier about some people, they really try and pit the pool guys against each other, and they've wanted us to come in and, like, cage fight it out and make sure, who's going to come out on top. But it's
so who's got the better record in the cage?
Yeah.
Ben or Jeff? Which one? I'm just kidding. Put you on the spot.
Maybe it's a tag team.
My pool's on the homepage of the website.
Oh, there you go.
He does do the website, though, so I will say.
There you go. Oh, here we go.
Brotherly.
Yeah, he's coming up. He's the one I'm worried about. But I still got a long...
I still think I can take him. I can take him.
He's a younger brother. So.
Shopping based upon price.
Yeah, I think people just always, if they go for the lowest bidder, they can really make a mistake in not realizing that they're just usually getting less, and we always try and be the best value and give them the upgrades and give them the pool they want, rather than, hey, let's get you in at a low price, and then afterwards, hey, you really want this pump, you want this, and because it's just not about just getting the right equipment, but also how it's built and the plumbing and the hydraulics and all those things.
You do usually get what you pay for.
Yeah, and with pools, it's very much true.
How many times do you see folks shopping for a pool over the phone?
We get a lot of questions over the phone, and sometimes it's every question. We've almost discussed every aspect of the pool, and definitely we typically want to set up an in-house appointment to narrow those questions down, but
it's so much harder because
there's no concept of their yard, and you can't understand really. One, you need to get see the size of their yard, what their budget is going to fit for what they're looking at, and some people they'll ask for champagne everything, and they realize, well, here's my budget, and okay, we'll do the best we can, and I think over the phone, it's a hard one to do. It's usually come in the office. You can see our show pools. We can talk about them in person and tell you what you might like to.
Another common mistake: assuming that swimming pools cost less to build during the winter.
Yeah, and we hear that a lot, and people think just they drop rock bottom in the winter and they're $5,000-$10,000 cheaper, and I'm like, where are you coming from? Where is this information? Because we've been building a long time in the valley, and they cost the same to build year round. They don't. You typically pay more of a premium in the summer, where if the demand is high and when you decide to build, that's when you're probably going to get a little price increase, or people are not going to be as eager to try and discount their pools. So normally the winter they're just
Is there a better time, being that summer is typically busier, is there a better time to plan? So not is there a better time to build, but is there a better time to plan?
Sure. I would say in the fall to winter. I mean, when it's cool and people aren't expecting to swim, that's when it'd be good to plan. Sit down in our office when the heater's going in the office and we're talking about a pool. That's a great time, and it might take weeks to months because you'll want to sleep on your design and talk to your spouse. If you're married and you're trying to evaluate what's good for your family, you want to make it a family affair where it's something you'll be happy with in the end, that you're not making an impulsive decision on permanently changing your backyard. So
people are rushing. We hate to see people just rush their pools through, and it's a one-shot deal. You got to get it right. So plan. I mean, if you can use pools right now and see what you like while the season's still there, and then build in the fall or in the winter when it's not so hot and you're not trying to pour concrete in 110-degree weather.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I mean, you're just not going to get as good of a product just because the way concrete sets up and just the nature of people are working out in that weather aren't usually going to be,
I would rather work in some rainy seasons rather than when it's 105.
Yeah.
California, we build year-round. We don't have an off-season.
Yeah.
So that's... Go back east, they shut it down.
So what are some of the don'ts or common mistakes that you guys commonly see?
Just the layout of the pool in general, just all the factors that go in, where you're viewing it from the house, where the sunlight is, the position of the patio to where the shallow end, and some of those common aspects there of just
the flow of the yard as people walk out of their back patio, because you'll use your pool half the time of the year, and you have to think about the rest of your yard the other half of the year, or you're not always swimming. So you want to take into account the entire backyard. So, and that's what we do as we design your pool. We don't just think about, your pool on this half of the yard. We ignore the other half of the yard. We usually have the entire yard incorporated, just to make sure it all flows.
And how they're going to use the pool specifically. Like if they want to lounge in the pool, they get a nice play shelf where it's 18 inches of water, they could put a chair in there. Or if they're doing laps, then make sure you got a nice long lane. Or if you do volleyball, have a shallow end on both sides, do a sports pool, or deep end. If you want to dive, and then if you go too deep, then you have no shallow end. So there's a lot of factors inside the pool itself that you got to think of how you want to use the pool. Because a lot of times people realize after the things that they value or how they use it, they're not going to be able to do if we don't know that ahead of time.
Super. Well, let's take a couple listener questions real quick. And this is directly related to pool building, just specifically because the guys are here. Sylvia from Hanford asks, I keep telling my husband that I want a pool, and his response is, I don't want to pay $600 a month on my utility bill. What should my comeback be, or my response be, guys?
Well, it doesn't cost that much.
Yeah, number
that would be the first one, is what it actually is. But, when you sell a pool, it's all about getting the right equipment and, the right plumbing and everything to it. But the new pumps actually give a wattage out reading, so you know how many watts are pulling out of the system. So there's no mystery. It's not like, is it pool cost $500 or $300? We know that typically it's about 3 to 5 kilowatts a day that the pool takes. So you're about 120, 150 kilowatts. You do the math on your energy bill, it's about, $30 a month if you use about 25 cents per kilowatt hour.
Gotcha.
But if you're paying a higher tier, then you could go up to 50 cents. In the wintertime, it could be $10. I've seen pools, when you do the math, it's $8 a month in the winter.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So, Sylvia, tell your husband it's not that much. And if he still thinks it's going to be that much, maybe you ought to take a look at your PG&E, your utility bill, and we can put you in contact with Glenn, our buddy over at Arise Solar, 449-8989. Again, that's 449-8989, and they can come out and do an analysis of exactly what it would take to almost doggone zero out your utility bill. And Jeff from... go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, they do have energy calculators online, too, some of the websites. So you can do the math, too, ahead of time.
Super. Jeff from Clovis asks, my wife and I are selling our home, and we just accepted an offer on it. And after about a week, the buyer canceled. Our agent is saying, well, it was buyer's remorse. Can they cancel for that reason? I mean, there wasn't anything about the property. It wasn't anything about the home inspection. Can they cancel? Well, the answer is absolutely positively yes, unless it's pre-negotiated that what we call the contingency period, which is the period of time after the contract's fully ratified, that gives the buyer the opportunity to make all sorts of discovery as far as the property is concerned. Can they go through and make sure that it's a sound roof, make sure that the air conditioning unit's working, make sure that everything is acceptable, and if not, give them the opportunity to ask the seller to correct it, or potentially have the opportunity to actually back out. So you could have a buyer back out for really any reason. And to be quite honest, you hope they have a reason, but they don't really need to tell you other than provide you with a cancellation. And that's something, unfortunately.
In writing.
In writing, yes. It must be, the cancellation must be in writing. So unfortunately, you may not get the reason you like, and they still might just be canceling. Margie from Madera asked, my husband and I placed an offer on a home. And I tell you what, this right here, with regards to Vineyard Pools, this was an eye-opener. Placed an offer on a home, and it was accepted. We loved the home, but we liked the pool. The pool was okay, but it wasn't really what we were looking for. And the question was for you guys is, can they come in and actually remodel the pool? And what percentage of your business is remodels?
Probably about 10% or so. It varies. We probably were doing more remodels a little bit ago, and now we're kind of doing more new construction. But I mean, there's a lot of pools going in there that, you know, people want to change the finish, change the tile, do raised walls, switch out the deck, do an overlay on the deck. They can do other things like add rocks and boulders, but that can get a little more tricky. Add spas because the structure of the pool is not built for that. Sometimes we'll do the faux rock or something like that, so it's, you know, not as much weight and they could still get a waterfall. So there's lots of options out there, but I mean, we even lifted up depths and raised it and all kinds.
I was going to ask, can you add length or width? Is that a pretty...
You can crack it open. It starts getting a lot more expensive to change the structure. You start cutting things out with diamond blade saws, and I got a pool in Quay Lake. We're going to demo the entire pool and build a brand new vanishing edge pool. But, you know, that's much more expensive and extensive.
The moral to the story is, as far as Margie's concerned, whatever it is, it can be redone.
Yeah, it's not like fiberglass, you know, where it's a shape and it's done. It's concrete. You can have to blow out a wall and put in, lengthen it. You can do all that stuff, retie it and shoot it in.
Nice. Well, again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions about the information that we shared with you on our show this morning, give us a call anytime, 800-979-3958. Again, that's 800-979-3958. Take us with you wherever you go and listen to the KMJ family on KMJNow.com. You can also check out our resources online and search for your next home for free. The home's not for free, but the service is. I always feel like I have to qualify that. Yeah, you have to pay for the home. Somebody's asked. That's why. Yes, the service for searching for your next home is for free at valleywidesells.com. Well, again, a big thank you to Ben and Jeff Bogdanoff here with Vineyard Pools, our local experts in pool design. You can reach these fine young men at 559-299-6044. Again, 559-299-6044. Go to their website at vineyardpools.com. Big thank you to Tim O'Hare, to Gigi behind the mics. Thanks for being back in the studio with us, kid. Really appreciate it. Johnny B, thanks so much, buddy. You always make us sound so good. Try to keep me under control and make sure that I talk slow. You know, our goal with the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market so we can help bring you back home. Don't forget to tune into the Real Estate Radio Network next Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Local news, local talk. Make it a great day, Central California, and we will see you next week.
The preceding is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.